Warning, the following show will spoil the hell out of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire books and the TV show A Game of Thrones. Also, you're probably going to find a fuck ton of bad language. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Death and boobies, 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 death and boobies.
Welcome back to the Ironwood Network Book Club. I'm your host, Maester Ironwood. Here with me, as always, is Septa Ironwood. Septa, how you doing?
Kind of chilly today.
A little chilly. Yeah, we're well below the average temperature for April. Okay, Septa. So,
yeah,
what are we here to talk about today?
Cersei.
More Cersei. Perhaps Cersei's most fatal mistake?
Yeah. Well, she makes a lot of mistakes in this
She does
chapter.
Indeed make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, so we're here to talk about Cersei 6, Feast for Crows.
Yep.
Before Septa gives us a synopsis, I do have a haiku.
Okay, go for it.
Stupid Cersei strikes a bargain with the devil. How could this go wrong?
Absolutely.
All right, Septa.
Yes.
Give us a quick rundown. What happened in Cersei 6?
So Cersei and her friend are off to the Sept to meet with the new High Septon.
Yep, the High Sparrow.
He's the High Septon, but
Yes.
he is a sparrow. When they get there, the road is full of sparrows, so she has to walk the last, 10 feet.
Yep.
She finds that they have, desecrated the whole area. It's full of, feces, and the statue of Baelor the Blessed is covered in bones.
Mm-hmm.
Some still have skin on them.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes to go inside, and she's stopped by a bunch of sparrows who are saying that, no weapons allowed in, so she has to leave the Kingsguard outside, and then, so there's guards at the door, and has to leave the Kingsguard out.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes in, and she finds a bunch of men scrubbing the floors.
Yep.
Which is not a scene she's used to.
Nope.
The Septon, one of the Septon she's used to seeing is among them.
Yep.
He's no longer wearing his fancy garb. He's wearing wool clothes.
Yeah, potato sack.
Yep. And among them is the new High Septon.
Yes. Who doesn't look like he's a High Septon.
No, because he's in the wool garb, he's barefoot, and he's scrubbing floors.
Yep.
So Cersei's pissed, because this is not going the way she wanted it to.
No, she's looking for somebody she can buy off, basically.
Yes. Yep. So they find their way into, the prayer room or whatever, and they, kneel in front of the throne, say their prayers, and then they talk.
Yep.
They talk about the debt that she owes them, about how they have sold everything in the vault, including the brand new crown they just got, so they could feed the poor people.
And all the older crowns.
Yes, everything that was in the vault.
The fancy clothes.
Yes, everything has been sold so they could feed the poor. And Cersei's
She wants to vomit.
Yeah, she's so infuriated by all this. And she's like, well, you still need to bless the new king. And he's like, well, we need to feed the poor. And we need to guard the poor. And we can't do that with no money.
Yep.
And you owe us a large amount of money, almost 1 million gold.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, why can't you arm the poor? And he says, because it's the law. Maegor, I guess, made a rule that religious people couldn't...
We'll get into it.
Yes, we'll get into that whole thing. So
Because
basically...
you haven't read
No, I
the
haven't.
World Book or Fire and Blood.
Right.
So you don't know these.
So I guess they make a pact. The debt will be wiped clean if King Tommen agrees that they can arm themselves.
Yes.
In a certain manner.
Yes. Cersei is getting played.
And he will come and bless Tommen when the paperwork's ready.
Yep, the ink's dry.
Yep. So she heads home, happy with herself.
Yep.
And runs into Marjorie.
Yep.
And her group coming back from picking flowers. And,
Picking wildflowers.
yes, picking wildflowers.
I wonder if she's doing the same thing as that song hints about.
No.
Picking wildflowers.
No. I'm pretty sure she's... and they have a little chit-chat.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the end of the story.
Yep.
Chapter.
Woo! Alright, yes.
Want to make any more noise?
Sure, why not? Alright, yeah. So this chapter is here for an important reason. So anybody who knows their Westerosi history
Not me.
will know that when the Targaryens first came and conquered Westeros, the faith of the Seven was not happy because the first king, Aerys, or Aegon,
Yes.
was married to not one, but two of his sisters,
Right.
which is just like an abomination in the eyes of the faith.
In the eyes of the Seven.
Yes,
Yes.
the faith of the Seven. That's what we mean by
Yes.
the faith. The faith
I
of the
just want to
Seven.
make sure I have the right religion here.
So, essentially, the first few Targaryen kings had to deal with violent uprisings by the faith,
Yes.
led by the Poor Brothers, which were kind of like the Sparrows but armed,
Yep.
and the Faith Militant,
Okay.
or the Warriors' Sons,
Yes.
back in the day.
Okay. Now,
So they launched during the reign of Aenys, who was the older brother to Maegor.
okay. So, what religion did the Targaryens follow?
We don't really know
Before-
much about the religion of Valyrians.
Did I say Targaryens? Did
Yeah.
I mean Valyrians?
Well, Targaryens are Valyrian.
right.
We don't really know much about what faith they followed.
Just that they conquered a land that had the faith.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the Andals... So when the Andals came over and defeated the first men, they brought the faith of the Seven with them.
Okay. And the first men believed in the old gods.
Correct.
The Andals are the new gods, which is the faith of the Seven.
Correct.
And we're not sure what the Valyrians worshipped.
Right. So the Targaryens essentially took on the faith of the Seven.
So they conquered a world and then accepted its religion?
Not as uncommon as you would imagine.
Most people who conquer worlds try to vanquish the religion that they're... I mean, from our history...
It's harder to do that when that religion is the overwhelming religion of the people of that region. Do you know what I mean? You can either spend your time fighting all of the people trying to get
that's
them,
what our history did. They
to
killed
change their
everyone who
religion.
believed in something that they did.
or you can basically manipulate that faith to accept certain things that you do and thereby accept that faith.
Okay, so that's what the Christians did with the pagan holidays.
Correct.
But it was the opposite for when the pilgrims came to America and just killed all the Native Americans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Christianity is not good about acquiescing to other religions.
No, they just took over all the pagan holidays.
Correct. Yeah. So,
And you can fight me for that. I'll let you. You're gonna lose.
So anyway, so during the reign of Aenys, the warriors' sons and the Poor Brothers basically started a rebellion. Because he wanted again to marry sister. So
Yeah.
and they were not happy with that. Like they put up with it for Aegon because he conquered Westeros, right?
Yeah, he came in that way.
So his first son, they did not want that to happen.
They didn't want him marrying a sister.
Right. Long story short, Aenys dies. His younger brother Maegor takes over, known as Maegor the Cruel.
Yes.
But that's because history is written by the victors.
Yes.
And so the Seven kind of got their way, in a sense. So the overwhelming story of Maegor is that he was Maegor the Cruel.
Okay.
Maegor fought with the warrior sons and the Poor Brothers and the rest of the Faith of the Seven, trying to put down rebellion pretty much throughout his entire reign.
Okay.
And he signed a law that basically disbanded
The
warrior sons and the Poor Brothers, and basically would not allow armed knights to serve
for the faith.
For the faith, correct.
Okay.
So that is the law that Cersei and the Sparrow are talking about.
Okay.
A law that dates back all the way to Maegor
300
II.
years at least.
Yes. It is there for a very good reason.
Yes.
Because the faith was incredibly powerful.
Yes.
When they had the warrior sons.
Yes.
And it gave them enough power that they were not able to, the Targaryens were not able to fully put down the rebellion of the faith until I believe it was Jaehaerys. So several kings later.
Right. Long fight.
Right. And that is why this law has been in effect ever since.
Yes.
And so Cersei, for her own purposes, takes it upon herself.
Because she's like, it's no law. It doesn't matter anymore.
Right. To end this law.
It reminds me a little of and I'm pretty sure you've seen it, in Grey's Anatomy, where Jackson just calls the board of the hospital and says, whatever allegations were buried against my grandfather, ignore them, because he wanted to bring a specific doctor in, and he couldn't because she had allegations against his grandfather.
Okay.
And when he dropped all those, then all this news came out about how he had sexually assaulted all these women.
The side effects.
And it ruined the hospital.
Unintended consequences.
Yes.
Yes. And what Cersei is doing here will have unintended consequences. For the first time in 300 years, the faith is now allowed legally to arm itself.
Yes.
And to basically build its own army. I don't think Cersei realizes that.
No, I don't think she does.
This goes
either.
back to Cersei thinking she's incredibly smart and not understanding the long-term consequences of her actions.
Yes.
Because this will definitely...
Because to her, all this means is she doesn't owe them $1 million. Right. And Tommen's going to get the blessing that...
Right.
Even though it doesn't mean anything, it's just a show.
Yes.
A show that is required.
Yes. And what it's going to mean is you now give the faith power. Power that they've never had. Or at least not in 300 years. They haven't had this power. Right. They've had the power of the people.
Right.
But they've never had... In 300 years, they haven't had their own military branch to enforce that power.
Right. And now they have the money to supply that.
Now they have the money and the legal ability to do that. So, new players entering the game.
Yes.
And think about how powerful the Catholic Church has been in the history of our world. When you think about the later Roman Empire.
Can you imagine if they were allowed to take arms up against, like, the people?
Well, so, essentially, the Catholic Church has, at times, had military wings. Like the Knights Templar.
Okay.
For instance.
I only know that from stories.
Okay, well, they were a real thing.
Okay.
The Knights Templar.
Is that the thing with, Arthur?
No.
Okay.
Well, they fought a crusade.
Okay.
But anyway, the Knights Templar were a religious order of knights.
Okay.
And quite often they were seen as enforcers.
Okay.
For the church.
Okay.
So, this is essentially the same thing.
Okay.
The Knights Templar are considered one of the most powerful military organizations in the history of the world.
Okay.
You think about the influence that they had, the wealth that they had, the riches that they had, the power that they held over people.
Okay.
So that's what Cersei is allowing to be built.
And she has no idea.
And she doesn't realize that. She thinks that the faith is just going to arm some people with some, axes to protect the people that are camped out by the Septa Baelor. That's not what's going to happen.
No.
No, they're going to build an army that then she's going to have to contend with. Stannis will have to contend with.
And she gave them permission to do it.
Yep. Phaegon will have to contend with. Daenerys will have to contend with. Jon Snow will have to contend with. They're going to be serious players in the power structure in Westeros going forward.
All right.
So, we'll see what happens.
They don't just all get wiped out when Cersei blows up this...
I don't even know that Cersei's the one who blows up the Sept.
She did in the TV show.
She did in the TV show, yes. I don't know if she's the one who does it in the book. I think by that point, she won't be the one on the throne.
Okay.
And it won't be Daenerys either.
Okay.
It'll be Phaegon.
Okay.
I think John Connington might be the one to accidentally or even on purpose blow up the Sept. Maybe it even gets blamed on Cersei. Who knows?
Okay, that's the whole storyline. Because I haven't even met this Phaegon.
No, you have not.
So I have no idea how he would be on the throne. And Cersei's still alive.
Conquer.
So.
Well, he's he's going to conquer King's Landing. It's quite possible the Septa is destroyed during the conquering.
Okay.
Whether Cersei blows it up or somebody else does it, it gets blamed on Cersei. I think it's more likely that it gets blamed on Cersei.
Okay.
Because remember, so if you remember who John Connington was.
Yes, he was
the hand
yes.
to the last Mad King, Aerys.
Yes.
So, if anybody, aside from Jaime, were to know what secretly hides under King's Landing,
it would be Connington.
It would be Connington. And that is massive caches of wildfire.
And tunnels.
To get to that wildfire. So it's possible that he might explode, or as part of the siege, blow up something big. It gets blamed on Cersei. The city turns on Cersei, makes the conquering of the city easier for Fagon. So
I guess we'll have to see.
We'll have to see what happens in the Winds of Winter, but I think that's a distinct possibility.
Okay.
But which might also then, at that time, eliminate the warriors' sons.
Right.
If they're all in the church.
Right.
So, anything's possible. But I think that we obviously, we know through the TV show and through the book, well, I know what happens in the book going forward, that Cersei does pay a price for giving the Sparrow this power. Right. Herself. You haven't gotten that far in the book, but you know what happens in the show, and it's relatively the same thing.
Yes, I do. Show.
Shame.
Yep.
Yeah. So that happens in the books as well.
Okay.
In the Dance of Dragons. So that is what Cersei is basically. That's the deal that Cersei is striking here with the High Sparrow.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah, it's not.
And she's so distracted by what she is supposedly gaining from all this.
Yes,
that she has absolutely no idea.
Yeah, no, she has literally no idea. She doesn't understand why this rule was put in place. She doesn't understand the importance of keeping the faith unarmed if you're not a person who follows the faith's rules, which she is not. Oh, and also, you just in general don't want a theocratic dictatorship. That has never worked out well for anybody.
Right.
So, yeah. So she's unleashing this serious problem without even realizing that she's doing it.
Yes.
Right. She's doing it for expediency, relief of her debt. I mean, it's basically, for her, it's a simple bargain. Right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't have to pay the debt? Great. Yes, you can have some weapons. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But it's not what the Sparrow means.
No. But that's the way he phrases it.
Yes, because he knows he's smart.
Yes.
He understands Cersei before he's even met her.
Yeah. So this guy is a Sparrow. He's not like the other High Septons that they've had, who have worn the nice robes and the big crystal and gold crowns that are like 2 feet high, and they're heavy.
He's not a pope.
And they're dressed elegantly.
He's not a pope, exactly.
The other guy's dressed like a fancy pope.
Right.
Sure. This guy has sold everything that the Sept has had in the vault. I almost called it the Vatican. So that they could feed the poor, whether that's true or not.
Yeah. Probably partially.
Probably partially. Well, because some of them do seem really hell-bent on helping the people. Like,
they are.
Like the Septon that is with Bran right now.
Yeah.
He seems very genuine.
Yes.
But there is not a lot genuine with this Sparrow.
No, I think there is, but what I think what the issue is, is...
And the Septon that Cersei does know seems scared of him.
Absolutely. And I think that okay, so I'm going to equate this to something you will understand as to why they're scared of him.
Okay.
Think of the existing power structure of the church as the Democratic National Committee. The powers that be. So Barack Obama and Tom Perez and everybody who runs things behind the scenes.
Yes.
Think of the Septon that Cersei likes as Joe Biden. And think of the High Sparrow as Bernie Sanders had he won the primaries.
Okay.
Comes in, changes everything around, and builds an army of people behind him who are willing to fight and die for the ideals that he professes.
Okay.
That's what's happening here.
So we're supposed to like the Sparrow?
In a sense...
Because I love Bernie, I don't like the Sparrow. But I don't like Cersei either.
So, like I said, it's Bernie with power. You don't necessarily know if you like Bernie with power, right? Because you've never seen it.
Right.
It's a guy who uses... Okay, think of him as Trump. a guy claiming to be a populist,
Right.
and using that power behind him,
Right.
to put people in their places.
Excuse me. Whatever, dude.
Sorry, I didn't know you were going to do that, so
I didn't know I was going to do it either.
All right, well, anyway, so that is the big important part of the chapter, is the whole Cersei arming the faith.
Yes.
So that is the big important part of this chapter. There's some small stuff on afterwards.
Yeah.
Namely Cersei talking with Marjorie. Essentially this is...
Or about Marjorie.
Or about Marjorie.
She's still trying to get some other guy in Marjorie's bed.
Yep, which is not working.
Yep. She had asked her friend, Lady Merryweather, whatever the fuck her name was.
Tiana.
If she was sure that Marjorie even was a maiden. And she's like, I put Renly in that bed myself, and I can tell you, he was not too wine drunk for that.
Yeah, his dick was hard.
Yeah.
Nobody saw the sheets.
Right, but Cersei even does make a point that highborn girls can lose their maidenhead horseback riding.
Right. Well,
Which-
did you miss the portion of that chat that pushes your theory about Renly?
What's that?
Who was it that carried Marjorie up to the wedding bed?
It was Loras.
Where Renly was waiting naked.
She was waiting for Renly naked.
Mm.
But Loras brought her up to the wedding.
Mm.
Because the way the weddings go is the men bring the girls up and the girls bring the...
And they stripped them on the way up.
Yes. But I can't imagine Loras stripping his sister.
No, so probably the other men probably did it.
Yes. But he...
Carried her up.
Yeah.
So, maybe Renly did have sex that night. Maybe it just wasn't with his new wife.
Maybe.
Or maybe he had sex with both of them.
Maybe.
Works for Oberyn.
Mm-hmm.
Or until he died.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Yep. And then the conversation between Cersei and Marjorie is just... It's their standard conversation.
It's very...
just taking
clipped
little cheap shots
Yes.
at each other in coded language.
Yeah.
Is essentially all that they do.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
They both little snipe at each other.
Well, Marjorie does keep inviting Cersei to come along with her. Maybe one day Cersei will like her.
You're right. I
But
think she keeps inviting her because she knows Cersei's never going to say yes.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So as long as if you don't want something to happen and you know that the other person doesn't want it to happen to either,
Keep asking
them to do it because you know that they're never going to do it, but you get to play dumb whenever questions are arisen.
Yeah.
When Cersei accused, well, of course, I don't I don't know you. We don't spend any time together. And Marjorie can be like, I've invited you to come hang out with me every day.
Yeah.
Since I've been in the city.
Yep.
It's not my fault you can't make the time, Your Grace.
Yes. Well, she's out doing something every 3 days or so. Cersei says her spies report that Marjorie can't sit in the castle for 3 days before she's out on a picnic or hawking or...
Can you blame her?
No.
I've been through lockdown now for almost 2 months.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine it every day for
Now,
years.
can you imagine if you couldn't leave the actual house? Because we're lucky enough we can go outside and do lawn work.
Right. I live in a small enough area we can still go to the store and it's not
Yes.
super busy.
Yes.
And we can pick and choose times when it's slower.
Yep.
And there's only a couple people in there.
Yep.
But, yeah, to just
Can you
not
imagine
be
if
able
you
to
couldn't
leave,
do any
period.
of that, you had to stay inside?
Right. Yeah.
You couldn't even go outside to smoke.
Yeah. Be smoking in the basement.
Mm.
Smoking in the basement with a window open or something.
Just stick your head out that window.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever works. I'll go sit on that roof
Yeah, exactly.
and smoke a cigarette and then come back in.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. Or go in the garage. Technically not outside.
Yes, technically not.
Technically not outside, so it's
Yep.
okay. Still within my house.
Yes, but thankfully we've got the double lot, so our nearest neighbor is...
At least 10 feet away.
The houses are at least 12 feet, I think,
10
away.
to 12 feet, give or take.
But I think we've seen that neighbor, 3 times in the 2 years we've lived here?
Well, I see her all the time when she mows her lawn.
Yeah.
So.
She actually spoke to me for the first day when I was out planting the raspberry bushes.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Nice. Seems like a nice enough lady.
Yeah. Keeps to herself. That's fine.
But, yeah. So Marjorie, and of course, right, Marjorie's a teenager.
Yeah.
She's not going to be locked down every day.
Right. Regardless of her status.
Right, yeah.
So she brings this entire
Entourage of people.
Yep.
She got her ladies in waiting.
Her cousins and their lovers.
The singers.
The singers and a bunch of other, what are they called? Quarters?
Quarters, yeah. People who are courting her cousins and, yeah. So it's this giant retinue that she takes, and they go do all sorts of activities outside. Yeah. So
today they're bringing back a bunch of flowers to decorate the...
Yes, because they were picking wildflowers.
Yes.
Which Septa Ironwood tells me is not the same thing as the country song.
It's not.
Picking wildflowers, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes, it's not.
Well, I mean, she would be a wildflower, wouldn't she?
Yes, but there's too many people there for her to get away with it.
Yes, absolutely.
And Tommen's not there, so...
Right. Well, I mean, she wouldn't do it with Tommen there.
Right.
So, but, yeah. I don't know if there's much else to talk about.
I don't think there is.
The big thing is really the Warrior Sons,
Yeah.
or the Faith Militant now, and Cersei really fucking shit up for a lot of people in the future, including herself.
Yes.
Including Marjorie, and handing the Faith way too much power.
Yeah.
Which they will gladly take.
Absolutely.
Given their history, they will gladly take that power.
Mm-hmm.
So, dangerous times they are a-brewing.
Yes.
So, yeah, I've got not much more to talk about with this chapter.
I don't either.
We do need a title for it, though.
I do have an option.
Okay.
Fatal Distraction.
Fatal Distraction. Well, it's not fatal. It doesn't kill Cersei.
It will kill a lot of people.
Very well. I had the, this is all for my 80s rock heads out there. Bad Religion.
Let's go for that.
Okay.
We can use Fatal Distraction in the chapter.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be another one. All right. Septa, do you know what the next chapter is?
I did not glimpse at it as I was reading.
The Reaver.
Oh, okay.
The Reaver. So I'm assuming we're headed back to the Iron Islands.
Islands, yep.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so that'll be Friday's episode, The Reaver.
Valyrian, right? Is that his name? No.
Victorian.
Victorian.
Or it could be Euron.
No, it's not the Crow's Eye.
No?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. Yep, so we'll be back in the Iron Islands. Let's see. Yeah, that'll be Friday's episode. For anybody interested in more listening stuff, last Thursday we released the next episode of our sports movie review podcast.
Yeah.
We did Tin Cup. You enjoyed Tin Cup.
I did enjoy Tin Cup.
Did Tin Cup, the 1996 golf classic with Kevin Costner and Rene Russo and Cheech Marin and Don Johnson.
Yep.
We got the next episode of that'll be coming out this Thursday.
Yep.
And that's going to be...
Little Big League.
Nope. We just recorded it. It goes out Thursday.
Oh, Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans, the 2000 Denzel Washington football classic.
Yep.
Next Thursday's episode will be Little Big League.
Yes.
A little levity, a little baseball for you.
Yep.
So that's good. If you're at all interested in that show, I'll put a link on our website, IceAndFirePod.com. But the website for that show where you can go to subscribe is sportsmoviepod.com.
Yep.
Or you can just get it in iTunes. It's right in iTunes. It's in Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. So
yeah,
you can subscribe right through your regular podcast app. We've done some good. I think we've done some good movies. There. Nice long discussions on movies. We've done The Sandlot. We've done Best of the Best. We've done Days of Thunder.
We've done
The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Yeah.
So, and then, like I said, we got more coming. It'll be a new episode every week until we're out of quarantine, which, with the plan that the governor released yesterday, looks like it could be like right around my birthday, maybe, if we're lucky.
Yeah.
If we're lucky, that's when we'll hit like a phase 4 release where everybody can go do everything.
Yeah.
So, not anytime soon, unfortunately. But, let's see, that's all I got. Like I said, for everything, if you need to know how to contact us, all that good stuff, links are all in podcast description, in the episode description, or you can visit our website, IceAndFirePod.com. Septa will be reading that Lovecraft short story, and we'll be recording about that. That'll be a bonus episode coming out maybe this weekend.
Okay.
You'll like it. It doesn't take that long.
Okay.
I enjoy it. Okay, I enjoy it.
Well, how about we have it go out sometime next week, because I work Thursday, Friday, and then...
Well, that's what I'm thinking about, recording it this weekend.
Oh, okay, you said out this weekend.
Oh, well, recording it this weekend and then
Okay.
getting it out to everybody.
Okay.
If we record it Saturday, I can have it out to people on Sunday.
Okay.
So, but we'll be doing that. Shadow over Innsmouth. It's really good. And then that'll give her a little insight into the Squisher people from around Old Town and the Iron Islands. So,
Okay.
So until we catch you guys again on Friday, thank everybody for listening. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.